We've talked about the Murdaugh case quite a bit, and Murdaugh's getting his retrial because of, what's her name again? Becky Hill? Becky Hill. Because of Becky Hill. Good old Becky Hill. And, you know, she was doing some shady stuff for personal gain in the trial. I know that it's still not yet, like, confirmed, but clearly there's enough evidence for there to be some big question marks around it with this retrial. Now, if you guys don't remember, I guess I'll give you a quick breakdown. At the end of his Murdaugh's murder trial, the judge made a comment, and I don't know if you remember or if you watching remember, but when we watched it on live stream, I was like, oh, he should not have said that.
I respect this court, but I'm innocent. I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never, under any circumstances, hurt my son, Paw.
Well, and it might not have been you. It might have been the monster you become when you take 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 opioid pills. Maybe you become another person. In the murder of your wife, Maggie Murdaugh, I sentence you for a term of the rest of your natural life for the murder of Paul Murdaugh, whom you probably loved so much. I sentence you to prison for murdering him for the rest of your natural life.
That was really harsh. And essentially he told Murdaugh, you're a monster, and I hope that your family haunts you when you go to sleep at night. And, you know, Murdaugh twisted it around and was like, it's true, I do think about them every night when I'm going to sleep. But, like, it was a direct verbal attack on Murdaugh, and I just didn't think it needed to be there at all, but it was the end of the case. Like, what would it have really mattered? You know, it's not that big of a deal. But Murdaugh's team has been trying to get a different judge, which I agree with. Whether he's innocent or guilty, for me it doesn't matter, because of that comment at the end.
Yep.
Now makes you feel like that judge is biased.
Absolutely.
And now might judge biased during the retrial and make things not be fair, but potentially in the favor of the prosecution due to the original trial. And he is stepping down.
He is?
He is.
Oh, thank God. Because it's even, all that stuff with Becky Hill also happened on his watch. And he even determined things with the whole Facebook posts and all of that. Like, I don't know.
I don't want to come at the judge, because I don't think that judge did anything wrong. If I was sitting on the seat, I wouldn't have made that comment at the end, just because I try and look at things like, what is me saying that going to do? All it is personal gain. You know what I mean? All it does is show that he felt some type of way about Alec, and this was his bias coming out. So I wouldn't have said those things. But he didn't break the law. I do feel like he judged very fair in that trial. I do think he was a good judge. But look, the plan has changed. And now that there's a retrial and you've declared your bias for him, there's just no place for you going forward in this case. But he is judging his upcoming case around the financial charges.
Oh, goodness.
Will that continue? I don't know. But I think it was the right thing for him to step down. I don't think he's a bad judge. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. But, like, that comment and then going into a retrial, it raises some red flags for me.
Yeah, my only issue is that, yes, Murdaugh is a piece of dirt.
Yeah.
Okay, he's bad. But I feel like in a lot of instances in that trial, I feel as though people's personal bias against his corruption and disgusting behavior and actions makes them biased towards his guilt, where I personally don't think he pulled the trigger. Do I think he had something to do with it? Yes. Do I think he belongs in prison for the rest of his life? Absolutely. But I just find it Like, we don't have the murder weapons. And
he never left that night, so that is very strange.
And one's a
according
shotgun
to
and
the
one's
prosecution's timeline, I mean.
One's a shotgun, one's a rifle. It just is all still... I feel like the trial did not make sense of that. Mm-hmm. Not for me. Yeah. It still doesn't make sense to me.
And it's 2 guns, too.
That's what I am saying. It was a shotgun and a rifle. It just... A lot of it just doesn't make sense. So hopefully that'll get fleshed out in this new trial. Because I want it to make sense. I want to understand. Because I still haven't been able to really get that.
I agree with you 100%. I think regardless, and I feel like that's one thing that people are missing, like you said, that they're letting their bias of how horrible and how disgusting of a person he is get in the way of finding the truth in that one situation. It's really hard to separate these things and be like, you know, Alec did all these crimes over here, but we're focusing only on the loss of life of his son and wife. And did Alec do that? Was it him making the decision to say, yes, I want to end them because of this, this, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm not going to get caught? I don't think he pulled the trigger either, but I think it happened due to his really bad decisions and just overall disgusting human being self, you know what I mean? And honestly, we need to try not to let our bias get in the way of that, because those 2 people that are dead deserve justice.
Yep. Agreed.
So.
Yeah. And whoever was involved in their killings needs to be held accountable, I think. I mean, because I don't think it was just Murdaugh that was involved.
Yeah, maybe it comes out that he really was involved and he pulled the trigger on his wife.
And somebody else did the other.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But all I know is the current story doesn't make sense, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So, just keep an eye out on that, you guys. I know that the retrial information and stuff will be coming up soon, and we will have a new judge, and they might even be getting a new location. They might get the approval to move it just because it was so politicized. They're worried about jury being pulled from that area being tainted, which, again, I understand.
When you're a local to that area, too, the Murdaughs impacted that community so much. I feel like the only way for it to be truly fair is to move it.
Yeah.
And the whole nation knows about it now, so that's why I always say there is no way to get a completely untainted jury, except for the little things that they do, like switching out jurors. They have some processes that make it work for the best they can, but even then, I feel like you're running a risk.
That's why I fight for a transparent court in any situation. There should just be cameras everywhere in everything except for minors and those kinds of details. But I feel like that would help combat some of this trial by media stuff that we see. So
yeah, just give the facts.
Yep.
Not speculation, not opinion, just the facts.
Yeah. I don't want to get into that argument.
But I feel like that's what
There's
the court...
no way around that.
The court has to give us the facts.
Yeah.
We are allowed to speculate and form opinions all we want based off of those facts. The issue is in a lot of these cases, we're dealing with such little facts.
Yeah. Transparency and live. Yeah, I agree.
That's what I feel like slants it and makes a jury bias.
Yeah. But I'm curious what you guys think and how you guys feel about it. I know we have multiple viewers of ours that believe he is just one of the worst human beings that ever walked on this earth, and I know that you guys feel like he did pull the trigger. So I'm curious how you feel about it. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. He'll probably get found guilty again.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess so. Okay, so